In this video, we're going to talk about some of my highlights from this month's Power BI feature summary updates, including things like the updates they made to the Q&A feature, the Power BI REST API support for DAX queries, and more. So without further ado, let's get started. Hi, my name is Fernan and welcome to the Solutions Abroad YouTube channel where we cover tips, tricks, and best practices when working with Power BI. I upload new videos every week, so make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell icon to get notified when a new one is out. So let's start with the first one. They've made some new updates in how you customize shapes in Power BI. So they've added some more formatting options for you to customize and add some flexibility to your shapes that you add in your reports. And if you remember, a couple of months back, they've added some new shapes for you to work with in your reports. And these shapes give you a variety of options when it comes to creating dynamic elements in your reports, like buttons. But to be honest with you, I'll probably stick with using PowerPoint as a means to create shapes and backgrounds, just because it doesn't require too much dynamic elements in your reports itself. If you don't know how to use PowerPoints with your Power BI reports, I have videos for those specifically, so check them out if you haven't yet. Additional formatting to the X constant line is now available. So the X constant line is part of the Insights pane, where you can create a constant line that goes vertical like this. And with this new update, you're able to create a shading region, which will shade the regions of your chart before or after the line, and also have the ability to create dynamic elements on the value of the constant chart. I'm excited to start using this feature just because I can already see a lot of use cases that I want to try it out on, such as showing or highlighting dates that are in the past. And also I want to see how it works when you have overlapping multiple X constant lines. Security admins can now set default sensitivity labels to new or existing Power BI files without labels. Obviously, the users can still change it as they see fit. Some new updates to the Q&A feature. You now have the ability to share synonyms across your organization. And if you don't know what Q&A is or what synonyms are, I covered it in a separate video. But synonyms are basically business terms that would be referring to your data by your clients or within your organization. So maybe you would refer to the client table as, let's say, the customers tables. These synonyms allows your users to ask natural language questions to your data, with your data understanding what it's referring to. And in that video where we cover the Q&A feature, the synonyms that we create is sort of tied to the dataset itself. So it means that if you have reports that don't use that dataset, they can't really benefit from the synonyms that you've created for that dataset. And now with this new update, you can share your synonyms to your organization, making it easier for everyone to start benefiting with these configurations that you've created. You can enable this either on the Power BI desktop and also on the Power BI service. You can now express date and date time values as DAX literals. So before this update, if you wanted to declare a date value in your DAX, you would need to call the date function or the date time, depending on which ones you need. And then you feed the data into it. So you put the hour, the minute, the second. Now with this DAX literal implementation, you can just have the DT and then feed the data or the date time without having to call any functions. So it's a nice quality of improvement for those looking to tighten up their DAX codes. You can now configure the settings on how your data is being evaluated. So when you load your data for the first time, or maybe when you hit refresh, you'll see that your data is loading, and sometimes they're loading in parallel or simultaneously. And this is what I mean by the evaluation. And as far as I know, there weren't any out-of-the-box solutions available for you to configure and sort of customize how these are being loaded. So either how many simultaneous tables you can have or how much memory you should use. You didn't have any control over how any of these were being evaluated. But now with this new feature, you are able to control exactly how many tables and how much memory it should use when it's evaluating your data. So this new feature, you'll find it in the settings, and it will set some default values that you can now control, which as I mentioned before, you can control the number of simultaneous evaluations you want to have, and also the maximum memory that it should use per simultaneous evaluation. And this kind of fine control is great. especially if you have issues like Power BI taking up too much memory from your machine during data load, or when refreshes sometimes takes too long. The Power BI team has now added REST API support for DAX queries in Power BI. And if you don't know anything about REST APIs yet, they're basically standard protocols for different systems to talk between one another. And this new feature means that you can send DAX queries to your Power BI datasets within the service without having the need to have or do it in Power BI desktop at all. A couple of things to bear in mind if you're thinking of trying and testing this new feature out. You need to make sure that you enable the allow XMLA endpoints feature in the integration settings in your tenants, and also you need to make sure that the account that you use to call the REST APIs with must have the proper access to build content on the dataset. And the easiest way for you to test out these new REST API queries is actually through PowerShell using commandlets. I have a video that covers exactly how you go through setting it up and start using the REST APIs through the commandlets. So if you haven't yet, go check out that video. And that's really it for my highlights for this month's update. As usual, I don't cover all the features that it's been listed for this month. So if you're interested in that full list, I'll leave a link to the blog post in the description box below. Thanks for watching as usual. Give this video a like if you found it useful. Give it a dislike if you didn't, so I know to do better for next time. Ask your questions in the comment section box below so I can help you and you can help others. And if you really enjoyed this video, we have a Patreon page where you can support the channel and get exclusive perks like early access, demo files, and credits at the end of these videos. Thanks again for watching and see you in the next one. Bye bye.